like special features and you're doing something very emotional or whatever, in the camera that's like right here, and of course all the crew behind it. How do you do that? I mean, where do you go to be able to do that when you're not looking at a person, you're looking at like 4 inches in front of your face?
You know, it's surprisingly simple, really. I think of it as playing house. Like when you were a kid, and you be the dad, I'll be the mom, or I'll be the salesman, you do the whatever. But it really is that. You just have to give yourself permission to play. And when you gotta come up with something sad, I start thinking about sad things in my own life to get myself there. But hopefully once you get there, you dump that and start concentrating on the specifics of the scene. But it really, I mean, I think that acting is like something that we all do all day anyway. And I think the secret of acting is to realize that every human being is beautiful enough and interesting enough to be stared at. And it doesn't take someone extra especially interesting or beautiful to be a good actor. You just have to have someone who's comfortable being themselves. Because actors often cover up the best stuff, which is themselves, with their cool ideas and whatever stress they're going to put on a certain word or something, and it ends up taking away what the real interesting, risky stuff that they have. And I think that most people in this room could be a successful actor. It's just that it's a really hard life, and that we actors are the ones desperate enough for the attention that will go through all of the bad stuff that you have to go through to get the job. Because most of you guys, if you weren't out on auditions and went for the, you'd be like, forget this. I have some self-respect. But we actors, we're like, did you like it? Terrible. Yeah, sorry.
I was just going to ask about Caprica. You did 5 episodes of that. What do you think the odds are of redoing a Spike and getting on it?
I hope so. I would love to be on that show. I think that it's a very interesting show. It's examining a society that's falling apart, and I think that it's a pretty good. It's like looking in the mirror.
Well, they'd be real smart to keep you on it.
Yeah, I would like that. I would like it to be another Spike, because the Spike is supposed to die after 5.
Yeah.
This guy's going to die after 5. Hopefully I've got cool hair too. Hopefully they'll give me a good coat. I don't know.
I've heard rumors you're a pretty big Star Wars fan. Yeah. And I've seen you getting the Stormtrooper outfit. So
I've made 4 movies with that costume already.
I would be surprised.
What's that?
How often you tried it on?
Oh yeah. I've made 4 little movies with that costume. I've got all these lightsabers, and I've got all the the helmets. I got
Are you going to be posting it on YouTube then?
Oh God, please.
Maybe. I've got so many robots. I've got like 100 of them.
I got the R2D2 at home, the one that roams around.
Oh, no.
Hey, all of you should keep going on.
Me and my son, we make movies, and he's not into it like I am. He likes to send it up, because he knows his dad's thing. So he'll make really good jokes, and we make funny little movies. Yeah, it's awesome. What's up?
What was it like being on Andromeda with Kevin Sorbo? And can we expect to see a Western team up with you guys?
I was on that show and I saw my costume and I was like, get me off this show. I'm not wearing purple. Are you insane? But so basically I was like, the whole time I was filming, I was like, get me out. Get me out. This is not me. This is not my character. I don't want to do this. And but Kevin was really cool. Kevin was a really sweet guy. Yeah. It was a great group of people. But I don't like it. Not for myself. Yeah.
Great performance last night.
Hey, thank you, man.
And I think one of the best songs was Dangerous, about one of your posts.
That's so funny, you guys.
And some alternate Georgeville universe, whose other castmates in the past, who would you love to sink your fangs to and off the set?
Yeah. Amber. You got a great mouth. try to make something.
Well, I mean, you've got your own series in comic book form, Spike After a Fall, and you've played Brainiac. How does it feel to have played comic book characters, being, obviously a fan of that genre?
I don't really feel like they're much different than any other character,
Yeah.
I think that good writing is good writing, and for a long time, comic books have been looked down when there's really no need to look at them. And frankly, there's better writing in comic books. Like the setups are more exciting. Hollywood's really cluing into this. And a lot of people, by the way, when they go to sell a movie, they'll have someone write a comic book of their idea and show the executives the comic book.
Do you have your comics?
I have some of them, but I don't have all of them. The thing was, I wrote a comic early on for Dark Horse because I had the mistaken assumption that because I had my own theater company up in Seattle, right? And I come down to LA, and my job description just shrinks down to minutia. I used to be, I would choose the director, I would choose the project, I was in control of everything. And suddenly I'm just standing on tape. So I'm like, hey man, if I write it, I'll have more control. No. So I put the script in, Chris Golden and I wrote it together, and it was the only script that Joss didn't want to rewrite. It was like right out of the page, he's like, this is a great script, love it. And so I was feeling good about it, but then they drew it, and they drew the characters as really ugly, which I thought was interesting, but Juliet, I screwed her, man. Like I created a project that ended up making her look ugly, and I had to go explain it to her, and I'm sorry, And
By the way, she's absolutely fine with it. She likes
I know, but I still feel guilty about it. She knows she's beautiful. And then I talked to Dark Horse about it, and they admitted that the reason they did it was that we were the only two characters that were popular enough to do a comic book, but we didn't have legal protection like the other cast members. And I was just like, so like the whole comic book thing is, I'm just like, it hurts me off. It takes me a lot to get mad, but then once I'm mad, I'm mad. Yeah, what's up?
When you were on Angel and Fred turned into that mummy girl, how did you feel the transition?
This is Illyria, right?
Yeah.
The thing is that Amy is such a sweet person in life. She's like one of the sweetest actors in all of Hollywood. Just wonderful, wonderful human being, and so much like Fred. She really is that character in life. And then they're going to make her into this super bad, world destroyer. And I was thinking, I don't know if that's going to work, because Amy's just too nice for that. And then she comes on the set, and she's totally the character now. I was just like, Amy Acker! I was just so impressed by her acting. It was just really fun. So just watch her go. Yeah. What's up?
Hey man, first thing, great performance. Here's a total oddball question. Don't get offended about it. What do you think about the anti-abortion thing and the new health care bill coming out of Congress?
I think I agree with the president that we should keep the status quo and not make this an abortion bill, but make it a health care bill, and then we can talk about abortion on its own and come to a conclusion about that. But we should keep this a health care bill, and whatever the status quo is now in the country, we should keep that, because we haven't had a conversation to change it. So I don't like the amendment that is taking some rights away, because that's changing the status quo. And I thought that the president was very smart about that, because he's liberal, and so it's kind of surprising for him to go, well, we have to maintain the status quo. I was just like, you're so smart. You are so smart. Boy, that was a lake of fire. What's up?
Question. You do a great job as the narrator of the Dresden File audiobooks. Do we have any hope of maybe actually seeing you as Harry Dresden, or is that just a pipe dream?
I think I'm too short, man. No. Seriously, Harry is like 6'5", and it's kind of, in my mind,
books that give you lips.
Or just cast Sarah again. Remember, people used to think I was 6'4". They'd be like, no, you look like Spike, but shorter. I feel like internally I could play that character really easily. I feel like I'm always kind of in a grouchy mood myself, or I often am. But I think that character needs to be tall. So I don't know. I think they would make great movies though. You've got all of the stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.